Hi guys, my name is Majid, and in today's video I'm going to be comparing two phones for you guys, the Moto X from Motorola and of course the iPhone 5C, which was just released recently. Now the Motorola has been on the market for a little bit of time, but I thought it'd be a good comparison to put these two up together since they are kind of similarly spec'd. Now the Moto X is only available in Canada from Rogers, so if you want to check out this phone, I'll put a link down below to their website. And of course the Apple iPhone you can basically buy unlocked from the Apple Store or from your carrier at a subsidized price, so it's up to you what phone you choose, but let's begin with our comparison. So starting with the Moto X, it has a 4.7-inch AMOLED screen, and the iPhone 5C has a 4-inch LED backlit IPS LCD display. They're both very good in terms of how they look and viewing angles, but in terms of resolution, the Moto X has a 720 by 1280 pixel resolution compared to the 640 by 1136 pixels on the iPhone 5C. That's where it beats it in the pixel density of 326 compared to 316. Taking a look at the dimensions of both phones, you'll notice that they're very similar in terms of their size. The Moto X comes in at 129.3 millimeters in terms of length and 65.3 millimeters in terms of width. The iPhone 5C is just a bit smaller at 124.4 millimeters and 59.2 millimeters in terms of width. So they're very comparable in terms of size as well. And for thickness, the Moto X is slightly thicker at 10.4 millimeters compared to 9 millimeters on the iPhone 5, but it does have a bit of a curved back, which makes it feel not so thick. Now, taking a look at the front, you'll notice both the phones have a front-facing camera. The Moto X has an advantage because it has a 2-megapixel 1080p front-facing camera compared to the 1.2 megapixel 720p front-facing camera found on the iPhone 5C. So taking a look at the back, you'll notice they both have cameras. The Moto X has a bigger camera coming in at 10 megapixels, whereas the 8 megapixel camera on the 5C has just been carried over from the 5. They both have autofocus, LED flash, and they both record 1080p at 30 frames per second. This is a photo test that we did with the Moto X and 5C, and you can tell that the 5C has a bit of a warmer color temperature, so it looks a lot more vibrant and the color seems to be popping out as well. With the Moto X you have a bit of a cooler temperature and it's more of an even tone. It might be good for some of you guys that prefer that style, but in terms of sharpness they're both very sharp pictures and you can't really tell the difference from one to another. I mean, you might be able to read the text on the Moto X clearer since it has more megapixels, but overall they look pretty good. Now, the same kind of stuff you can see in the video test. As you can see, the 5C seems to be a lot better at handling light. I mean, in terms of sharpness, they're both pretty much equal, but when it comes to light, as the laptop goes around, the 5C doesn't flicker at all and it keeps it very, very steady in terms of how much light is in the picture. Even though they're in the exact same environment, you see the Moto X trying to focus in, and sometimes the exposure on the lighting goes up and down, so you get a bit of a dark and light kind of video effect, which can be annoying if you're trying to take videos. Internally, both of these phones are pretty nicely spec'd out. So let's start off with the 5C and compare it to the Moto X that way. Internally, it has 16 and 32 gigabytes of storage that Apple offers with 1 gigabyte of RAM for the system memory. Wi-Fi, it has 802.11 ABGN with dual band support. It includes the Wi-Fi hotspot capability and Bluetooth 4.0. Moving over to the Moto X, you have 16 and 32 gigabyte storage sizes, same thing, but it comes with 2 gigabytes of LPDDR2 RAM, and for Wi-Fi it supports ABGN, but it also supports the latest generation AC, so it should give you some improved Wi-Fi speeds in your house if you have a supported router. Of course, dual band is supported and it can do the same tethering with the Wi-Fi hotspot. Bluetooth 4.0 is the same, and the one other feature that you get in the Android phone is the DLNA and NFC features. So you can use NFC for payments or other various things, transferring files, whereas DLNA is really cool. If you have a server at your house or if you have a router with server capabilities, you can stream videos that you have on a central, maybe storage location. So it's actually very, very cool that it's built in, and most Android devices do have it, so it's really nice. One of the most important things about your mobile device is the internal processor. Since it is a smartphone, you need to have something capable. In the Moto X, you get a Qualcomm Snapdragon dual-core 1.2 gigahertz processor with an Adreno 320 GPU for graphics. So it is a very good chip, and it will perform really well, do everything that you want it to in terms of being really fast and having good multitasking support. You can use various applications at the exact same time. The iPhone 5C has Apple's A6 processor, and it's a pretty nice processor. It's a dual-core 1.3 gigahertz, but you'll notice right away it is less powerful in terms of specs. On paper, it is only 1.3 gigahertz, but we'll see how it compares when we do our Geekbench test. In terms of graphics, they have a PowerVR SGX triple core graphics processor in there, so it does a pretty good job when you're gaming or using various applications. And with iOS 7 running, you can see it's always very fast, and it always has enough power to do whatever you want. It never slows down, so that's definitely something that about Apple. They always have smooth running phones. This is Geekbench that we're going to be using in terms of our comparison to Wrench the processor benchmark, and the test results that we got back were pretty close. The 5C did end up having a greater score overall, not by much though. As you can see, the 1.7 gigahertz processor in the Moto X doesn't really beat it, even though it has more processing power. Somehow with the iOS 7 and the way they've made the Apple A6 processor, it's more efficient, so it gives you a better output with, a lower processing power. Alright guys, so the last thing we're going to be talking about is something very important, the battery life. Now this is something that you want to make sure that you have a good amount of in your phone. So starting off, the Moto X has a 2200 milliamp hour battery with up to 13 hours of talk time and 576 hours of standby time. So it's pretty good. Whereas the iPhone 5C has a 1510 milliamp hour battery with up to 10 hours of talk time and 250 hours of standby time. Now you can see that the Moto X is definitely has a bigger battery and will last a lot longer, but you have to keep in mind that it is a bigger phone, and which means inside it does have a bigger battery, and that's why you're getting that extended amount of standby time and talk time. Alright guys, so that was basically it. That was my comparison of the iPhone 5C versus the Motorola X, and if you liked our video, make sure to click that thumbs up button and add to your favorites. Also, if you want to be updated in terms of the videos that we put out, make sure to subscribe to our channel and go over to our Facebook page and like that as well, as I do post all our videos that we put up on there. So if you don't get it through YouTube, you'll definitely get it through there. And that's basically it, guys. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hey everyone, this is Watch from the MW Technology channel on YouTube, and in this video we're doing a direct comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S4 and the new iPhone 5S.